There has been a lot of talk this week about President Trump's first 100 days in office. He's made a lot of changes to the way America operates. Those moves include ending DEI initiatives, implementing worldwide tariffs, and aggressively enforcing immigration policies. By the way, none of these actions should come as a surprise. We heard him make these promises on the campaign trail.
Immediately upon taking the oath of office, I will launch the largest deportation program in American history. If you allow fentanyl and these drugs to come through your country, we're going to charge you large-scale tariffs on everything you send into the United States. I will eliminate all diversity, equity, and inclusion programs across the entire federal government.
The first 100 days are always used as a benchmark of presidential progress, but that only makes up a tiny fraction of the total presidential term. President Trump still has, about 1,300 days remaining in office. So what can we expect from both parties as this administration moves forward? Let's ask CBS News political contributor and Democratic strategist Joel Payne and CBS News political analyst and Republican strategist Leslie Sanchez. Welcome to you both. Leslie, let's start with you. So the first 100 days were fast and furious. They had executive orders ready to go. They rolled them out at a dizzying pace and achieved a lot of the priorities that the president promised on the campaign trail. Can we expect things to slow down from here on out?
I wouldn't expect it to slow down. I would expect the pace of the waves, that these tidal waves, to change. There's nothing different from what the president already outlined he was going to do. He was going to tackle the migration at the border, tackle the drugs and the cartel traffic along the border, and he was going to do something about the growing threat of China economically and from a national security standpoint. He is beyond measured with high marks in executing those things. Now it's going to be what is the cadence of government execution on the budget, making sure that these federal agencies are streamlined. It takes a different type of approach that's not just a sledgehammer, but more of a scalpel. And I think that's going to be the sigh of relief that many voters are looking for, but it's certainly the positive momentum he will need to have to execute his agenda.
And Leslie, just to follow up with you, you're hearing that there's going to be a lot of action in terms of hiring and firing at the top levels of the administration in the next 18 months or so. What do you know?
Well, I wouldn't say that there's particular names. I mean, you're already seeing movement around, for example, within his national security apparatus right now. But there's certainly an understanding that if people do not perform at the way the president wants, he's not afraid to fire people. And you also have a lot of people going through the nomination process right now that are going to bolster defense, to bolster some of the Commerce Department and different agencies. And they're going to be looked to for larger leadership roles, I think, in the months and years and at the end of the year and moving forward. So everyone has to earn their position, I think, every day. And that's what's distinctly different about this president.
Joel, let's bring you in here. What do Democrats need to do to get on their feet and run toward a victory at the midterms?
I'm sitting with everyone's got to earn their position. I'll tease Leslie about that a little bit later. I think in terms of what Democrats have to do, look, I think Democrats have to continue to build a permission structure for opposition. And I think they've done that. I know that folks were frustrated with maybe the lack of the same opposition energy that existed in 2017, did not exist at the beginning of 2025. I think that has caught up and in some ways actually exceeded the pushback against Donald Trump in the first term. You've started to see Democrats, whether it's Cory Booker going on the Senate floor, AOC and Bernie Sanders barnstorming across the country, other Democrats doing things like legislative procedures to push back on Republicans lockstep behind Donald Trump. I think you are starting to see Democrats get more bold and more decisive in their action, and I think they'll be rewarded with that from the grassroots of their party, but also rising view and perspective on just the entire Democratic Party. I think it's very easy after an electoral loss like Democrats experienced to not feel good. Republicans didn't feel good in 2012 after they lost. Democrats didn't feel good in 2004. It's not a surprise. Democrats didn't feel good coming into 2025. I think with time, Democrats will continue to build this momentum to figure out how to combat Donald Trump and Trumpism at the ballot box.
But Joel, I think Democrats have been less than slow. For a lot of people, they looked like deer in headlights for these first 100 days, a lot of them. And you did mention some of these moves that people like Cory Booker and others have made. And you have the members of Congress who've gone down to El Salvador. A lot of those are symbolic. Is that enough?
I mean, that's really all you can do when you don't have a stake in congressional control. You obviously don't have the White House. There's not a Democratic majority on the Supreme Court. I mean, there is no power source for Democrats to actually leverage any official power in any of the three branches of government, really. So it is symbolism. And by the way, other parties have been here in the past, and I think that's the point that I'm making. This is not a surprise that Democrats are limited in what they can do. I do think the thing that Democrats are doing a little bit better job of is connecting with the grassroots of the party and matching the energy that's there. The grassroots of the Democratic Party wants a fight, and I think Democrats are starting to deliver that to them.
Leslie, before we go, we often ask Democrats who the leader of the party is now or will be. What about for Republicans? Donald Trump is term limited. Who steps in?
The people that are closest to Donald Trump. I mean, there's no doubt about it. This is Donald Trump's Republican Party. There are many folks who are following in his footsteps in terms of the strong kind of breaking the infrastructure of the federal service, breaking a failed federal bureaucracy. And you're seeing that on the state level. So I'd watch the governors. I would watch individuals who are already kind of lining up and starting those PACs. It's not news that Republicans are circling and trying to think about who can best match the policies the president has and continue to build that working class coalition that is now part of the GOP.
All right, Joel Payne, Leslie Sanchez, great to have you both.
I want to see the text conversation that happens after the segment between the two of them.
It is hot.
Bring us into the group chat, guys.
It's melting phones, I'm sure.